then now we are live. So this should be, here you see this yellow arrow. So this means that anyone who have the link or who's now available in Google can see this broadcast. And here you can share also your screen, what you show. So, but I have to be here to control it. So now I would like to jump to my presentation.
And it records it automatically.
It records it automatically, and then it exports it automatically to YouTube. So at the end of the day, I will have a YouTube video. My fear is that while we're discussing and I'm telling a couple of things, the connection might go off and I might not notice it. So it would be a gap in the recording. So you have to be, or you have to have someone to make sure that looks here is everything okay. Where is it?
Reconnect, let it go to the connection.
No, it doesn't. You have to do it manually. So now it's recording. And you see here there's dots moving, there's green dots, and we are live, as it says there in yellow and down. And if something goes wrong, I don't know it. But of course we can keep an eye. And we're testing different tools to see what works. Next time we can try Adobe Connect Pro and see that tool. It's a bit more complicated, but this is quite easy, and this is very easy for students also to understand and use and record their meetings, virtual meetings also, and for us to see their YouTube video afterwards and assess that. So let's aim at that. So today we have a very limited time. We have 1 hour, and thanks to Sirpa for inviting me to this to present about blogging. This is something that I'm very passionate about. I have briefly, I would like to say a couple of things so that we can all be on the same page when we're talking about social media and blogging. And then towards the last part of this session, we can really sit down or discuss what does this mean for our work here in Porvoo campus, our social media strategy, and our blogging strategy. So I have been blogging since 2003, when I was still a student in Athens University, studying communication and media, and that was the first year that a WordPress blogging platform was created. So it was in its very early days, and back in those days, probably you remember, there were big debates about traditional journalists and bloggers. So the traditional journalists, the media elite would say, who are those bloggers and what are they writing about? We should be the gatekeepers. We should be the ones informing the public. Who are those people who they think they are writing a blog? So there was this debate going on. When I came to Finland, I started working for the city of Rovaniemi, and I had a blog there called The Expatriate in 2006. And then when I started to earn income also through blogging, so I saw the possibility to develop my own personal brand and also reach out to a global audience. And since 2010, I blog for different companies, Fujitsu Computers, Forum Shopping Center in Helsinki, Guess Watches, and many others. Since 2010, when I started with Forum and Fujitsu, I got a job also in Haaga-Helia. So I've been using blogs also here in our different courses. This is, for instance, the Culture Export Management blog that we're building. We build it with the students. We build with the students, and the students are responsible for creating the content, the pictures, the text, the videos. And here you see the number of views that this blog has already, 4,800 views as of yesterday, right? So almost 5,000 people have seen and came across this blog and seen the names of the students and their faces and their work. And this is one of my biggest, I think, successes here in Haaga-Helia with the students. This is for my optional free choice course, Wedding Planning and Management. I created this blog called Wedding Planners and Managers, the Next Generation of Wedding Planners. And see there the number of views that this blog has, almost 40,000 views, 40,000 views. I have journalists contacted me since my email is there. I want to give students emails there. Of course, they sign their articles, but my contact information is there. So I have journalists from the USA contacting me. I had a couple of days ago a lady from Spain contacting me, and she wants us to plan her wedding. She's married to a Finnish guy, or she's getting married, and this is the only blog available in English that she could get some information and plan their intercultural wedding. So she asked me that would that be possible. So we have here lots of people all over the world looking our blog, from the Palestinian territory to Australia and USA, to all over the world, really. The statistics are very impressive. Just a quick question to you. When I asked this question to the students, of course, nobody has any recollection because they're born 1992, 1993. But if you think about how did you find out about the death of Princess Diana back in 1997? Do you remember? What were you doing? How did you find out that she died in that car crash in Paris?
My mother was watching TV, looking like this. Oh, what has happened?
Yes.
I heard it from her.
Yes. Anyone else?
BBC News.
BBC News in the morning with your wife, probably watching the news. Do you remember what day it was? It was a Sunday morning. I remember, yes, we were at the church. We came home and my mother was preparing the food, and it was all over the news, exactly as you said, and as you both said, that it was breaking news all over the planet. Princess Diana dead in a car crash in Paris with her boyfriend, Dodi Al-Fayed. So it was all over the news, and it was all over the print media. But if I would ask you now a different question or a different set of questions, how did you experience and how do you remember being informed about the death of Michael Jackson in 2009, or the death of Whitney Houston when she was found dead in that hotel room? Do you have any recollection of that?
Online newspaper.
Online newspaper. Mm-hmm. Internet. Yes.
We used it, but I don't remember Michael Jackson. So just heard of it.
Yes. So within those few years, we have been receiving information about this celebrities or famous people, about other events in our lives from different media. So from the traditional media in 1997, the radio, the TV, the press, till the modern media, new media, digital versions of newspapers, Facebook. So indeed, it was actually a blog, an online blog, that broke the news of Michael Jackson's death. It's a gossip celebrity blog called TMZ from the States. And then all over the Facebook, it was Michael Jackson, rest in peace, and songs about him and sad faces. And the same thing for Whitney Houston. It was a blogger called Big Chorizo who broke the news. My sources tell me Whitney Houston is found dead in her hotel in Beverly Hills. It's not in the news yet. And if you see, he tweeted that at 12:30 on that day. And then it was actually Associated Press almost half an hour later that verified that actually the publicist told and informed us, the official media elite, about her death. So it was in those two cases, there were users of the internet that broke those stories to the public. So a few trends here that are shaping social media and blogging. I will go through them quickly. And I can give you also this presentation. You can take a look. It has some useful resources at the end as well. And the first I would like to show you is this, that what is social media? Because many companies and many organizations talk about social media and they think that having a Facebook page is enough, that we have a Facebook page, we have a social media strategy. That's not the case. When we're talking about social media, we're talking about a number of tools, and I'll show you in another picture the variety of tools that exist. We're talking about tools that belong in Web 2.0. And Web 2.0 is this second generation websites, and I think now we belong in a different generation or generation cohorts, that we remember the early days of the internet, when internet was a black hole where you couldn't find anything really in there, the years where there was no Google. Our students do not understand that when I say that there was no Google. If you didn't know the precise address of a website, you were lost. It was a black hole of information. And so when we talk about social media and blogging, we are here in the second generation web. And then, of course, we're moving towards what is called the third generation, Web 3.0. It's all about virtual reality, Second Life. We have it also installed in our computers, virtual worlds, and what those means in education. So basically, the idea is that social media and blogs belong in this second generation website, where we're moving from a very passive, laid-back way of absorbing information. We're downloading a movie and we're watching it. We're receiving what we're being told. We're consuming. We're moving here, we lean forward, and we're actually the ones creating the information. We are the ones posting pictures, and we're the ones writing the text, and we're the ones becoming producers. So the evolution is from a consumer to a producer, and consumer as well to a prosumer. So the emergence of this term prosumer, a producer and a consumer together, is there. So social media and blogs are here. And perhaps we can talk what later on, part of this, what we're trying to do in education, what does that mean then, the complete immersion on a virtual world, what a virtual world can do for education at the later stage. And here you see, when it comes to education, some differences between the more passive Web 2.0 and referenced in education. What does that mean? And where we are now, and maybe you see where Porvo Campus is. So if you check at those three columns, maybe you realize that Porvo Campus ticks some of the boxes of Web 2.0 and some of the boxes from Web 3.0, where we're heading to. Where do you think Porvo Campus is regarding to the curriculum and the pedagogical approach here? For instance, we think, yeah, fine.
Maybe I'm very brave, but I think if we want to, we can be all of us in that web too.
Mm-hmm.
If we want.
If we think about the third line there, teacher is done. In Web 1.0, teacher is done by teacher to student. 2.0, teacher to student and student to student. Is Porvo Campus doing that? How about then teacher to student, student to student, and student to teacher? Are we achieving that?
Not explicit.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think that Porvo Campus is somewhere in between those two. So I suggest, and I believe that first we have to make sure that we utilize and we tick the boxes here, all of them, before we move really to this column. But of course, perhaps the education is moving towards that direction. We talk about virtual learning and more virtual courses, and this shows already the direction that education is going. But this is a big discussion as well. So this is what I explained, I mentioned about the variety of all the social media tools and platforms that they are there. Facebook is just, and LinkedIn are just two drops in that ocean, and different ways where you can use social media. So this is something also that is very interesting, and what, if you look at the outer circle there, what social media sites can do and how they could use, from video uploading and hosting sites to photo sharing websites to wikis to community building, networking sites. So a large variety, and of course they're on top on the right different blog platforms. Haaga-Helia is using WordPress, which is the best, in my opinion, and the largest.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is there an optimal number of places that you can be? Whenever we ask entrepreneurs, are you doing this or that in social media? Everybody said, I don't have time. But
Yeah.
then I have to hire someone to manage all those social media platforms for me. Can one do all of it, or how many can one do?
I personally, because I'm a geek, I like this. I try to be as active as possible, but I also realize that it is a full-time job, that I go home and I update all my social media network sites, and I have to be active there and write comments and be active. But I think that what makes sense is that what fits your need. Not everything fits your needs, but you can make the selection that what is appropriate. But of course, when we talk about an organization like Haaga-Helia, I think it's so big of an organization that it has to have some social media policy in place, that which tools are we using, which sites are we present, what fits our need. And many of this actually, if that would be updated, some of these don't even exist because they're startups, right? Some of these have changed names even. I used Foursquare, which basically allows me to check into Porvoo campus. Every time I come to Porvoo campus, I check in virtually so people know that I'm here. Of course, that's not good for servers, but if we want to, many of our students also check in Foursquare, and Kaya also does. So we could give different offers and tips and QR codes and whatnot. Businesses use Foursquare geolocation apps where they could give offers to their customers. So if you check into Wayne's Coffee in Porvoo, you get 10%. But somebody needs to check that. It doesn't come automatically. Or then the cashier needs to know that if somebody shows their phone and they're checking, they give the discount. So no more carrying cards and for special benefits. So there's different things you can do as long as it fits with your needs. And this takes us to this hierarchy of needs. You're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is the Maslow hierarchy of needs is here, and on the mirror here image, we see the social media hierarchy of needs. So from our need to exist, to survive, and having a platform somewhere, having a profile in Facebook or in LinkedIn, from choosing what platforms we're comfortable with using, sharing, to connecting with people and joining LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups and finding people who share the same values and passions and hobbies with us, to moving up the ladder to building our personal brand. How do you use social media to build yourself, your brand as a professional to be? And then, of course, the upper level of self-actualization, the equivalent in social media would be then how to monetize, how to make money out of it. Okay, you have these platforms and you have 5,000 friends on Facebook. What does that mean? Can you make money out of it? Can you get job offers? Can you move professionally in the ladder? What does that mean? So the same way as we have different needs that step by step we need to accomplish to ideally reach our potential, the top of the pyramid, there's also different levels that social media, people in social media are using, or people that use social media have to consider that which level are they aiming at getting. Hopefully all of them, or at least I would say the personal branding. I'll just check if this is working. That's fine. We have one viewer. So hello to our one viewer. So as you see here, there's one viewer online here. And we can return to this presentation about social media and blogging in education. This is still some general issues so that we are on the same page. And this is something also that you might be familiar, the 6 degrees of separation that Milgram just discussed and suggested in the 60s, how a person A can be connected to any person B in the world only by 5 people in between, so 6 steps. So the idea is that you simply have to find the right people that as stepping stones will lead you to the man of your dreams or to the employer of your dreams. So back in the 60s, there were 6 degrees on separation. And in 2011, the University of Milan and Facebook group have analyzed the data from Facebook. So all the connections, all the mutual friends have all over the planet, and concluded that now we're talking about 4 degrees of separation. So we are really in what Marcia McLuhan spoke about, the global village. So the global village is here. So now you need 3 people in between to reach your potential employer. So this idea of the degrees of separation is exactly what LinkedIn has utilized. So when you're connecting with people in LinkedIn, it shows you immediately that you have this, how many connections apart you are. You're 3 connections apart or 1 connection apart. That's the idea from Milgram's experiment. So online social networking, then you're familiar with this term that we discussed before, the digital natives and digital immigrants. So this is something in our education that we might see those differences between our students and between us and our connection with the students. So when we have people that they're able to navigate in this complex reality, maybe we don't have those skills. But when we're instructing the students and we have to guide them, it would be good to be comfortable to navigate in that reality as well. So I will fast forward here about Google reshaping and rewiring our brains. An interesting research that showed that if you see there on top with the blue on the left, you see it says internet naive. This is a digital immigrant. Let's call a person who has been an adult when the digital revolution was taking place. So if you were an adult at that time, when you're reading a text, there's certain areas of your brain reacting with certain neurons. But then if you are an internet savvy, a digital native, you see that the red areas of your brain, and you see the difference, they're bigger areas that they're being active. And if you look on the right side, you see on top the internet naive or digital immigrant, when they're doing a web search, their brain is almost brain dead compared to the picture below of a digital native person, an internet savvy person. When they're doing a web search, they're able to navigate in that complex world because the information is hyperlinked, which means that you click this link and you're taken to the other page, and the other page generates lots of content. So internet naive or digital immigrants are people that like their information to be logical and structural from step to step, step by step, where our, I think, students are the people that they like the information to be more chaotically given to them. And I think sometimes I'm also surprised because I belong in this generation Y. I was born 1984, and sometimes I'm even surprised with our students because they have very low attention span, right? Probably you've seen it, that you give them a task and then they check their phone and they do this and that. And I'm just wondering, did you finish your reading or did you finish your task? But now this is the main point of today. A couple of things about blogging, and then we can discuss some issues. So blogging in education, we talked about these different trends and how the world is coming closer and what our students are, from which generation cohort they are. And many of you have children, so you know that firsthand as well, plus the students that we have here. So for instance, my grandparents have been illiterate, all of them. All my grandparents were signing with a cross. They cannot write their own name. They could sign official documents with a cross. They were farmers. So the illiteracy level of that generation nowadays in this world is the digital illiteracy or literacy level. So nowadays, if you're not able to navigate in blogs and not able to navigate in social media, you're the digital illiterate of today. So how to make sure that we also, as educators or teachers, guidance counselors, are able to communicate and navigate through that reality and what the students are experiencing. Why blogging? As I said, I was blogging since 2003. I have already 7 blogs. That on top of my social media, I have 7 blogs. So these are children also that need constant content to be fed to them. Otherwise, they die. And so blogging provides this authentic learning opportunity, provides a global audience, and we can analyze this now shortly. It makes the students, it gives them an opportunity to engage in conversation by enabling them to write comments to each other's work. So it's a great way to build a network also in that community, which is called the blogosphere, a large community of bloggers all over the world. So when we talk about digital literacy, the reading of blog itself, so being able to read a blog has certain benefits as well. Can I ask, how do you read blogs, and what blogs do you read? Does anyone follow? Ivan writes also blogs and reads.
I'm very selective. I don't write right now, but if I read the blogs, I have several editions. For example, Recon, they have their own blog.
Yeah.
So I might look, because they advertise their blog in the print edition, so I might look for an article that's not in print there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some other
Music
when you
related,
look for
maybe?
news, for example, when you look for news and Google suggests a particular link and it turns out to be blog, and sometimes there's quality there, so I might stay there and actually.
That's an excellent point what Ivan just said, because Google loves blogs. So if you want to be on the first pages of Google, and you know, our students, as we said and observed, have very low attention spans. So, and even us, when we're searching for something, we go to the first page of Google. If something is not in the first page of Google, we make different keywords, right? We don't go to the second and third and 100th page. We don't even have the patience for that. Think about our students. They check the first 2 results if the answer is not there. So Google loves blogs. So if we want to promote Haaga-Helia, to promote our work, having a blog makes our content come higher. What Ivan just said, that if Google sometimes gives you blog, because Google is very open to promote blogs. And there's a way where you can enhance that called search engine optimization.
Are you talking about now blogging personally or blogging Haaga-Helia? So I'm just wondering,
Both.
if I'm blogging as me, what does it have to do with Haaga-Helia?
Well, it doesn't, but I think now perhaps we're discussing that how we can blog collectively on our Haaga-Helia blog. Of course, if you want to have your own blog and be on the top pages of Google, that's also fine. Ivan has a blog where he reviews opera and CDs and music. So,
which was inspired by Chris a year ago.
But it can be also to do with Haaga-Helia if it's something that shows your competence and your interests.
My question was that if you individually write about something that is not related to Haaga-Helia or teaching or anyway, that would not lift Haaga-Helia in Google, of course.
No. But then it would lift yourself.
You mentioned Google, you mentioned Haaga-Helia in your blog.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
depends.
If
Yeah.
you start writing a blog on leadership,
Yes.
sharing your wisdom to the whole world.
And link it to Haaga-Helia.
Yes.
Well, I'll show you an example of one of my 7 blogs, my Teacher Inside blog. Okay, so this is one blog that I started when I got accepted into the vocational teacher education school. So basically, this is my blog called Teacher Insights, Reflections from a Higher Education Teacher. And here I use this blog as a platform to, yes, brand myself as an education teacher, and also as my portfolio. And you have been, Ivan, through the same, you dealt the same course. So that's something that my guidance counselors see, that this is my reflections from the previous sessions, and this is my confidences. So I use that also to write different articles, are teachers planning, teaching, or learning, so everything that can inspire me. For instance, it was October 5th, International Teachers Day. I post something about that, right?
What is the length of a blog, for example?
500 words, 5 to 1,000, 500 to 1,000 words, including pictures and videos, like a paragraph, a picture, so the eye can rest. So it's not too big. And if you have something bigger, you can make
Do you have
a
them
couple.
public, these blogs?
Yes, this is public.
Okay.
So this is where I keep sort of my development. I post pictures of my colleagues and what we're doing there in class, and what are we discussing. And then I reflect on those issues, and I present also my work. In this blog post, I take the opportunity to promote my courses also, because it's relevant to what I'm writing about, if you read that. So in a way, I am presenting Haga Helia, because if somebody clicks here, it goes to my course description in Haga Helia's website. So search engine optimization means using keywords of your content known as tags, using tags, keywords. So every blog post that I have written, here you see on top, these are the keywords, I don't know if you can see, that I have put here in that website, in that blog post. So when I created this blog post, I said that every time someone searches for Krisa Skodra, course description, course plan, Haga Helia, how to, learning, silent discussion, teacher, teaching, University of Applied Sciences, bring them to my blog. So I have said that before, so that if somebody Googles these words, these tags that I've assigned to my blog post, my post has higher chances of coming in the first pages of Google. So I do it the free, cheap way, using my WordPress.com website, which is free for everyone. You can all go to WordPress.com and get started. There's a button there where you can create your own blog. But of course, there's very complicated algorithms where you can do search engine optimization if you pay, right? Or if you know how to do it. But I do it a very simple way that I know that doesn't cost anything. But I think then you see in Google that you can experiment, that does it work, and where is your blog? So for this blog, I also have a few 5,000 readers. 5,000 readers and people commenting, etc., etc. And my guidance counselor, Irmeli, is also commenting.
Is that WordPress?
Huh?
Is that WordPress though?
Yes, yes.
Because it looks like blogging.
No. The theme is perhaps this orange, so
Yeah.
maybe confusing. Yes, it is WordPress. So students can read blogs, so that's a great way that they can be exposed to different potential that blogging has for them. They comment to other people's blogs, so they can be interactive and give comments to their students. Teachers can give comments to the students. So instead of writing, Ivan, you write those beautiful texts and very long feedback to the students, which is very valuable. But in a more concise way, you can write a comment to their blog. It saves you time also, and they get happy that, oh, someone commented on my blog, or my teacher read my assignment, right? Instead of the assignments being in Moodle somewhere collecting dust.
Sometimes you don't publish what you
Yeah,
There is an issue with
yeah,
privacy and confidentiality of comments. And
Yeah.
So I think Moodle is an environment
Yeah.
for courses, has certain tools that blogging, I don't know if those tools are there.
no, there's a wiki, but no. But yeah, of course you choose what you bring to the forefront. And also one thing is that you can make your blog private. So a blog doesn't have to be necessarily public. So you can decide, you can put a password protection also to it, that this blog that is very personal, this blog post, this article, it's only password protected, and I send it to my teacher or maybe to my peer if we have a peer assessment thing going on. Okay, that's also possible. And then when writing blogs, it's also very interesting when we talk about this digital literacy, because the student now understands that, especially this third bullet point, that they're writing for an audience, and not only an audience, but a global audience. So there's a different thought pattern when you know that you have all the world possibly to look in your writing than having only your teacher or only your friend who will review it on a peer assessment. So it puts then a bigger pressure to the student to make sure that the grammar is there, the content is there, the structure is there. So I think it has very many benefits as well, plus the benefits of being able to hyperlink information, to put links there that lead somewhere else. So instead of referencing at the end, very easily you can make a word a link. So when you click there with your mouse, you're going to the book or article or source you're referencing. So it's very efficient. I think for this generation, perhaps that our students are, is very useful. Plus you can include audio and images and video. We have this VIMA, right? This visual marketing program. Okay, so people are visual, people are auditive, people have different learning styles. So blogging can really incorporate these elements. A couple of last points. Digital citizenship, this now raises your concerns about the protection of privacy, responsible behavior online. And this is something that our students need to know as well. I think all these 5 points are very important. The students need to know that what are the rules and etiquette of navigating into the online world. Netiquette. So what is netiquette? What is internet safety? What is the digital footprint that they're creating for themselves? Why they have to understand that they should not put pictures of themselves being drunk in a park or with a bottle of beer, right? Because an employer would look at this, will Google them and come across this picture from their Facebook feed, and maybe it influences their chances of getting a job, right? So what is the footprint that our students are leaving? Because there are producers and consumers of content without really thinking the implications that that has on their personal life. Plagiarism, very important issue. Students need to understand that they cannot, just because something is available on the free internet, just copy paste it into their assignment. And also, what does that mean when using pictures to a PowerPoint or Prezi presentation? They cannot use any picture that they found on the internet without properly explaining what the source is. So I explain also in our blogging course about the use of Creative Commons license, where we go for attribution license, which means that we can use pictures that they're available online if and when the author has given the right to be used, if their name is mentioned. So we take their picture and we write photo by Reija Santelin. But this means that the creator of the picture needs to give the right. Because this student, our student generation, and it makes sense because they're born in this world where the internet has been there. So they're used to having things for free. So when you're telling them that, no, you have to pay for this, and you cannot download this music, and you cannot download this movie, they don't get it. Why to pay? It's there, it's on the internet already. So this is issues that I think will make them better citizens also, and then the possibility to connect with people from all over the world, from their own first circle, what our learning community is here, to peers all over the world, global audiences, experts, employers, so from the inner circle to outwards. Here now, I would like us to think about how we can use blogs in our curriculum, and I have here some 3 categories. Blogging as a curation platform, and curation is a term used a lot in social media and blogging, which means basically to filter information, to be able to make sense and repurpose information. So not necessarily creating new information, but utilizing the existing information and repurposing it and making sense out of it and presenting it in a nice way. And I think this is very valuable for our students. Then the second would be the blogging as a pedagogy in general, and what strategies, techniques, and approaches teachers can use to facilitate learning. And some pillars could be reading, writing, reflecting, and sharing. And this could be also the meta competences that we have, or the steps that we have in our pedagogical approach. And last, we can think about how we are connecting our learners with the rest of the world. So in terms of what audience they're being exposed to and they can be connected to, and what opportunities they can get. So these are perhaps three pillars that we can discuss today. I know that this is not enough time to discuss and make some big decisions, but just to get thinking about some issues in the short time that we have. I don't know how, Sirpa, you would like to structure this. Do you think we can have maybe more open discussion and take some notes, or use the board, or then in smaller groups?
I think we are so free that
Yeah.
we can discuss all together all of these.
So if we could, perhaps I can take some notes, or if you would like, you could, we could gather here and use this board. But if we think about this first point, that if you think about blogging, what students in your courses, what students can blog about, what content there is already available out there, and how can students repurpose that into some more meaningful way to reach out to some audience, to some target group or stakeholder. Yeah, Juan?
I have similar subject to children. Do we ask students to have their personal blogs, or do we want to have a course blog or a degree program blog?
About 14 students already started to blog about the travel fairs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a blog right now.
And
Mhm.
how they share the tasks, and then the quality management as well.
I'll take some notes on this presentation.
Can I ask a question?
Mm.
Just information, if we're finished.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just thinking that I often describe assignment reflective report,
Mm-hmm.
not only what they read, what we do at school. And I'm not going to try to be modest here,
Mhm.
but often good things are shared, that what was good.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no idea how this could be blocked. So it's similar, that students will block on their own, or is there going to be a course block, or I have no idea how this could be shared with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question that I have.
I think it very much depends. If it's a travel fair, which you want to show to the rest of the world, then it makes sense to have one common blog where the students are blogging. And when it's a common blog, then they can write a blog, and then you can put in their what's the word, sort of that you also always accept that you are sort of the coordinator, and then you accept the blog post. And only after you accept it, then it's seen to the rest of the world. And then, for example, now I have one course where I was designing services. They all have their own blogs, and they write there. A little bit what the users, they are doing the same. That they write, that they read, and then they have their own experiences, and then they write about a certain topic every week. And then they share always the link to the new post in Facebook. So we have a good page, and there they always, and it works really well.
I kind of fancy this, that they would have their own, that I wouldn't be the gatekeeper, but even if I'm a guru. I'm not sure if I will be able to follow them enough closely that it goes on time.
But then it's under their name.
Yeah.
If they do it under their name, it's there. And they can, sort of, like Krista said, it can be published or unpublished. So that only few people see it or everybody sees it.
Perhaps I can show you one example. First, this is one course blog for my marketing, another blog called Insights of Marketing. So in this blog, I have given rights to all the students. So, because I think your question could be answered in a technical way. So to make your life easier, what I'm doing, I'm creating a blog so that I can have the admin rights. But then I add as users all my students as authors or editors. So what I do, I have established a hierarchy amongst them that I'm the admin, as I will be the project supervisor. One or a few students are editors, so the project manager, so they have a task of editing and checking that is the text right and the pictures the right size. And the rest of them are the authors, are the creators, are the people that do the job. So this is also one way how I use this blog. So as you see here, they have rights as authors, and this is Sami Koskela writing about it. and then this is Nike writing about this, and when I click on his name, I see all Nike's posts that he has done. But I made a structure. Perhaps your question could be answered in a technical way, so that here we are, for instance, in the official Haga Helia, blogit.haga-helia.fi, and here you see lots of blogs from the rector down to different users, or Pia's blog, Dancing English Teacher, our blog here, the wedding planners and managers, etc., etc. And when you log in, let's log into our on-campus blog that you all have the rights to when Sirpa gave us the rights. So you can log in with your username and your password. So this is how basically the control panel of the blog is, and this is called the dashboard or the back end. So when you're here in the dashboard, you can, when you see users here at the bottom, you can add new users. Let's look first who are all the users we have, and here this is a blog that I have with students. This is the on-campus blog. And your name should be here as well, because many of you have rights. But then I took control of that in the sense that with the students through my blogging course, right? But your name should be here also. There's 4 pages of people with rights. So you see now that this student, Jonas, is an author. But some people, if you see, are administrators. Like Ujel, you're an administrator, right? You have Kalle and us, the teachers, are admins, right? So you can select here, there's 5 different roles other than the administrator. So editor, author, contributor, subscriber. So all of them, they have their own differences. How many rights, how big influence someone has on. Because an admin has all the rights, can delete the blog posts, the blogs altogether, but a contributor can only write. So you can read more about the roles. So basically, the idea, I think, to answer to your question, you can make a blog or you can use an on-campus blog, and within that on-campus, it could be a page. So instead of Matka having its own page, it could have been here as a page or as a category, so that when you look at the blog, it could be here, Matka, right? When you go to our projects, Matka. And then all the posts could come here. This is now what we do with my blogging course students, that the students are writing blog posts about life on Porvoo campus and in Porvoo, from what's happening in the dormitory to what's happening here on campus.
I would here ask something else related again. So my concern is that if I go to this, I would like it to be proper and reach not only the people who are already inside the Haga Helia circles, reach if somebody, a German student is writing a blog,
Mm-hmm.
I would like that her friends of friends in Germany
Yeah.
also reading that.
Exactly.
What is the best way of making sure that that happens?
The best way to make sure that this happens is that the students themselves are promoting their work. So, for instance, if I'm this student that wrote this post, I take the link of my blog and I share it on my Facebook page. I share it on my LinkedIn page. So blogging should not be seen in isolation. And this is what I always tell to the students, that it's not blogging for the sake of blogging. I made some blog. My job is done. So organically, nobody's going to visit your blog. Maybe you have a good search engine optimization, and maybe a few hundred people will stumble across randomly because it happened to find it. But you have to work for it. So what I have done, for instance, one example is that I try to the students that share the work, I try to give extra points. So for instance, I see how many posts, how many comments their post has. So the more comments they have, the more points they get, right? Or I could make it so, or you could make it so that everyone writes a blog post and everyone comments. So then you see also that the other students give clear feedback to the other person. And then it's very open. You see it. You say, Nikya, you haven't commented on that post. And you haven't read about it, right? So it can be in smaller teams as well. But you're writing something and 4 people in your team comment. And then the other way around, vice versa. So different ways that you can facilitate this interaction.
Then of course requires commitment. If you think I have 12 courses for this year, and then we have 20, 30 students each, a blog for each course. So where does that leave us as teachers, and how much we then should engage in how to organize the process that we don't, as Chelsea says, shoot ourselves in our foot?
So first of all, there is this course that I'm offering every semester. That could be one extra help for them. Of course, because you don't have the time, as Sirpa said, I don't have the time. I was talking about service design, and that's not in my course plan to teach them how to blog. But she has taken an excellent decision to use blog. So, of course, the one thing, because for the students, for instance, WordPress that we're using, it has a very, it is a demanding interface, but quite simple in a way. I think for the students, they get it. And they have an excellent manual. They have an excellent manual, an excellent help desk. You feed your question and you have very detailed information, but clear. You don't get confused. So students quite get it. You tell them that make this, open that, so then it has a life of its own. And of course, there's courses that they can help, there's books they can read, and there's the help desk that WordPress is offering. And I think that it depends, for instance, instead of having an assignment, that you can take a decision that you write a blog post, right? So remember, we had this portfolio which has faded away. This is an excellent way in this digital world to have that reflecting writing. So I have now in my Marketing 2 course, it's a Marketing 2 6th grade course, that every student writes a blog post about a topic of marketing that they feel passionate about. And then I will be collecting, because we play with the numbers. There are 30 of them, so 30 articles. We don't need 2 assignments per student. We can have 1 quality blog post, and then they learn also this tool. So one of my individual assignment, or my only individual assignment, is that they do this blog post. So then what I do is that I listen, I tell them, pitch me your ideas. What would you like to write about? So we start already from some point in the semester. They say, oh, I'm interested in branding, or I'm interested in social media marketing, or I'm interested in this. So, okay, sounds good. And then, so that we don't have 2 same people writing for the same topic, because they will all be on the same blog. So they find different topics, they pitch their ideas, and then there we go. They go and write their blog. And of course, we can discuss and what, as you mentioned, how many words, what's the style, this and that. This can come, and it's quite easy, I think, for them to understand.
And probably the idea is not that we use the blog in every course.
Mm.
You have to think that when it fits and when it doesn't.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that if I could, for example, somebody who has never tried and probably illiterate when it comes to social media, try in one course as an option. You know, let's say if I'm asking them to write a report of 10 pages, as an alternative, those who want can write one blog post. And then see how it goes. And instead of trying, committing to it immediately.
Usually when I give options, they take the traditional option,
Mm.
Do they?
always,
Okay.
Which is,
which is writing a Word document.
Yes.
but in a way, when you see that when you give them a task to like read this book or read this chapter, read this article, that instead of, as you say, returning the word assignment, your blog post, then you can do that.
Also make a feel more.
But they can also, if they make a video, they can then put it in the blog.
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, this is a great platform. Perhaps I can show you this briefly, that a blog is basically a website within a website, right? It's a website within a website. The entries, the blog posts, the articles, the content you're providing, they're displayed in reverse chronological order from the newest one to the oldest one. And ideally, they allow the visitors to make comments. So this is exactly what we said in the Web 2.0, that this interactivity, it's not that we're just observing what the author of the website is telling us, but we are able also to get the comments from the readers. And then WordPress is the best platform. But here, I think I want to stand here. Jill also mentioned about personal blog, corporate blog, what is the division? So personal blogs, of course, everyone can have a personal blog on a topic of their choice. Maybe you love knitting, or Tuve, you love the horses, that you don't have them anymore, but in any case, you love two left. So you write about that, life with the horses, my daily diary, feeding and taking care, right? Maybe you have traveling as a hobby, but so an individual can have this benefits. And I think for our students, the first one, the personal branding, is very important. The second one, networking, professional skills, so all this digital literacy skills. But I think also the four, the intangible skills. I always say to the students, you need two things to be a good blogger: authority and commitment, therefore, and passion. That leaves out most of people. If you don't have authority and you don't have passion, you're not going to be a blogger. So you need these two things to be able to be committed and to grow personally. And then the entrepreneurship, also the second part, the seventh part, because you are now the editor-in-chief of your own online publication, right? This is a very entrepreneurial skill. This is my publication. Ivan, you've been editor-in-chief of other magazines, right? But you have also a blog. So this is now your space to voice your opinion. And then for businesses, when we think about Haaga-Helia, for instance, there's many other benefits. If I mention about highlighting business expertise or leadership, and number 4, lending a human face to the business. So who we are, what's Porvoo campus, right? Who are the people? You saw the video with Kalle playing his guitar. An applicant that comes across that blog because it searches the internet and is wondering where to apply, maybe is compelled by that video and say, wow, what a cool accounting teacher, right? Or maybe comes across to a blog post that talks about the top 5 courses in Porvoo campus. So instead of us telling, we are great, we have the best building, we have the best educational approach, what is the best way, what's even better to have the students tell that how great we are and what good job we do here. So in that way, blogging serves as win-win-win purpose, I think, that how the students become brand ambassadors of what's happening on Porvoo campus. Plus, they develop their own professional and personal skills. Plus, they're helping us promote our work.
When would students be able to write a blog?
Uh,
Do you think that a student that comes in first year, they can write a blog?
yes, they can, absolutely.
Many of them already write.
They do, right?
So I wouldn't have to, as somebody said, that I wouldn't have to teach something that I don't know myself.
Yeah. And the good thing is also that, for instance, my blogging course is open from the first semester students. So if they can need some extra help, then they can come to attend maybe the few lectures in the beginning if it's a conflict with another course that they're taking. But it,
Teachers have it.
Yeah. the good thing is with our students that they read blogs, so that's a good starting point. They do read.
And I think it's a sort of good way also that they bite. The first ones can be rather awful,
Mm.
and then they discuss and compare and share and think that what could be improved, and it's also a learning process. It's very good example of learning by doing.
Yes. And this is it exactly. When I started, 2003, I didn't know much. I just had this idea and it was a new tool and I was interested and I tried it out. And practicing makes perfect. At some point, I was able to get big audience and make money out of that audience. I could sell ads and be invited to events. And
Sorry, I have to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, Kalle. Guy, did you learn?
Everyone
Guy-
calls me Kalle.
Guy,
Yeah,
Guy, did you get some ideas? You're also a technical
yeah.
person.
Sent hello to your conference there, then the guy from Egypt answered back.
Ah,
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So it was two watching me and the guy from the UK.
okay.
Okay. Maybe that they mentioned one.
Lät det måla sig tvättbox. Share.
And
Krista,
Yeah.
I remember from the old days when you had writing course,
Yeah.
or when I was a student, we were forced to write and work in different genres. For example,
Did you get some ideas? Sorry.
A lot of ideas.
What
Of course,
ideas?
I'm very much a beginner.
Good.
And this was very,
Yes. This is just some food for thought.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
limited time. But
I think
thank you.
thank you.
the crucial thing is to raise the motivation to do that, because without that, nothing's going to happen.
Yes.
Funny thing that when I first time started to think about writing a blog,
Mhm.
I read an article
Mhm.
where somebody said that do this test because so many people start and drop writing.
Yeah, that's
And-
true.
Yeah, and then when I did that test, short test it was, I said that I'm not the guy who should be writing a blog because consistency would be missing. That I would write one, and then God knows when the next one would come in 2 years, 3 years time, and then you would lose your audience already, your customers, whatever. Then I thought that maybe I shouldn't be the one who's
Well, that's true.
blogging.
Not everyone.
Yes. In the first 3 months, most people quit blogging.
Yeah.
But I think in our students, we would like to shape them and hold their commitment, right? If they're able to maintain a blog, they're able to study with us 3 years, right? If they show a commitment to a blog, which is their own blog, most probably they will be committed
Or
to,
maybe just simply if they have to do it, then they do it like us.
yes.
As they
Yeah.
wrote essays
Yes,
previously,
exactly.
it doesn't
And
matter.
I think it's also sort of a skill
It's a skill.
to learn. Some of them do it as any other skill and competence. So
Yeah.
Some of them do, but really, if you do it well, it requires a lot of time. I'm not doing
Yes,
it
it
either.
is.
so
Also
I don't have to-
imagination and
Yeah.
skill and.
You know, Krista, when I was writing an
Yeah.
author blog,
Yeah.
it did take time because then I realized that
And you're also a perfectionist, so we can imagine.
Not only that, but you're really interested. I'm really interested in the topics I was writing, and I realized that, you know, sometimes for one post the whole weekend, I get inspired, I start researching, and the whole weekend goes just for those, 1,000 words. And at the point when we start the course, and I did my post every month, post, but I realized that I cannot continue like that because if
Yeah,
I
well,
do,
you have to choose.
then there's no point.
But the idea is, what I think we should agree is that because we can also lead by example, and we don't have to post all of us every month or every week something. But we are also many, so maybe we can have an editorial calendar that, let's say you go to a conference, or you were in a conference, you write a blog post about it, right? Then you go, Johan, you do sales training somewhere. Okay, you write about it. But so the same way, perhaps we can have
Yeah,
take
maybe to
minutes,
circulate
some
that.
rotation. Yeah, and then so that also the students know that, okay, our teacher knows about that platform also, and then it's actually the students need to do the work. They're the ones that need to create the content. But I think we should also know something, right?
Yeah.
So that we feel comfortable. But just a quick question, guys, if you have time.
So-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you can have it. But do you have some ideas that what topics you would like to blog about?
Thank you.
Let's say, thank you. If you would have Johan, if let's say you be blogging about something, what is some topic that you're passionate about?
Sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing.
Leadership.
Perfect. Good. So perhaps we can profile ourselves also that sales and marketing, Johan. Sirpa. Service design.
I have no passion for anything.
Food and what? Football.
No.
No.
That.
What did you
I
like?
gave
Nuts,
up.
nuts, you like nuts.
I gave up on that too. I'm giving up on all my passion.
You are passionate about teaching.
You are, no?
You really well share your thoughts on teaching and all that.
Or could it be your perspective as an intercultural person with a foreign background living in Finland and the life here? It could be, or a teacher teaching of your background to this student. It could be anything.
My life with Finnish students.
Yeah.
I'm like an 8 when it comes to passion. It just changes. Today I'm passionate about something, tomorrow with something else.
Oh, that's interesting also. You can have a wide variety. And then, Veijo?
Yesterday I made, I don't know what this is in English, but I made Aron ja Maria Hilva. What is that in English? I don't know.
Jam.
Yeah, and I could talk about that.
What about that?
That was
Yeah.
the first time, so I
All
did it, but. I was-
Acquiring new skills,
But
lifelong learning.
I mean, there are lots of things that you could blog, but
Yes.
maybe that should be something more from your profession.
But it can be also, I think that you can sort of also show your own person.
And you're a performer also, you're a pianist, so Maybe-
There are topics.
there are topics, many topics. And
Because you
then,
use that in your work. And then also you have the hospitality line.
That's
Write about the Aronia Jam.
exactly. So this is exactly the idea that you could write something that you feel passionate about, maybe
There is a context.
there, and then in that context, you can promote, apply now, if you're interested in cooking, apply now to our degree program in hospitality restaurants.
So that's a good point because most people here associate me to something more boring.
But that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
you could be less
You
boring
first
person.
we can let you surprise us.
Yeah, or you can find some interesting research on
Aronia
brain
spicy.
function.
Krista, that's the one idea.
Yeah.
Should we put in Yammer, their link
Yes.
to their
Yes.
YouTube, and then you'll put the link to
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leia, say about your passion.
Oh, I have many
But you have
questions.
blog.
I have, yes, but that's very personal and it's not very focused. Yeah,
What do you love about?
whatever might turn
There
my
was a
mind.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it somewhere.
No.
No? Never seen it.
Yeah, but there are many things I could talk about, but then,
But for Hagapedia, because you've been doing this training for example, for this managers, Compass,
yeah,
or then you have training in the
yeah, I have tried so many things to share.
And
But I don't know if no one,
People are interested in this.
I don't think
So
so.
it's a global audience. So I don't know what you have in mind, but
Jewelry would be one with this.
shoes would be another one. thank you very much.
Nee,
And
you,
hopefully
Chris.
we can continue and discussion about this and action really. Because I think that,
no, I think we should organize a program to somehow cope with this question.
Yeah.
Allocate a lot of resources to do it,
Yeah, right,
because it's time consuming.
to organize it, yeah.
And then when we show the companies, they actually have a team that are responsible for social media output.
Yeah, there are
And this
people that
team,
work full-time
the team are
answering the
trained
questions.
and they are given also time to really focus and make sure this consistent message from the company comes. I don't know if Hockey is big enough to get such a team. I'm sure in Kassel they
Well,
have a
with
couple
the
of people.
financial situation, I think we have so
But
much.
we have marketing team. in
Yeah, we
Kassel.
have, yeah, and
So
there are two people that
people
are
who-
kind of taking care of it. Yeah.
Some-
And one of them is Tarja Lepogeni. She's pretty popular. Have you seen her Instagram? That blog, it's called Tarja's Small, and she has 800 followers on Instagram. And not just the personal blog. Yeah. She knows people.
Then I read quite, I follow airlines, and then with an airline, is that they've invested quite a lot, millions of euros in the social media strategy, and now the CEOs and chief information officers, they're saying, we need to stop